Indeed. And greetings upon you, my beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again, sharing the space with me, for showing up, for opening a door, if you will. I want to talk about the afterlife today, or at least about afterlives, let's say. Maybe not the afterlife, but definitely afterlives. Ah, 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 Oh, my friends, when it rains, thank you for the love toast. Beloved brother, it's so nice to have you here. Coco, you made it. You made it indeed, you did. I can't stay when I'm sending love. Thank you, when it rains, for joining us for a second. Good day to you. Ryan, I was thinking about you today. I'm gonna share a little bit later of that. Probably gonna fall back asleep soon. It's completely okay. Toast brother, thank you for sharing this space for even a second. Thursday pre Thursday preacher. Thursday preacher. Yes, I agree. I don't really understand Bleach, but thank you for joining us. Brother. Happy morning, fam. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us as well, Brother Ninja. Whew, I feel a little bit intimidated, friends. Just a little bit intimidated. I'm planning on going on adventure after the stream. Hands getting eaten. I'm planning on going on an adventure, and I'm I'm intimidated because I don't think I haven't dived quite that deep, and this is the first one that I open up to. The infinite, eternal stream of consciousness, of communication that occurs throughout creation, unobstructed, is lost to our awareness, yet so close are we. It requires only a thought to shift the momentum in a new direction. Yo, what a trip. Sorry because I keep bothering you. It's okay. Coco, the more you apologize, the worse you feel, friend. That's the real trip. And that's why I said to you as well, you're only what word did you say? Annoying, bothersome, something like that. You're only that much of that as you believe you are. If you believe yourself to be annoying, then you're gonna start doing things that's gonna annoy people. You're doing fine, Coco. Relax. Breathe. Remember that infinite, eternal stream of communication, the infinite, eternal stream of communication is always available to you. It's just a thought away. I want to read this one again. It goes, the infinite, eternal stream of communication that occurs throughout creation, unobstructed, is lost to our awareness. Yet so close are we, it requires only a thought to shift the momentum in a new direction. So, I want to share a few things with you, friends, and do bear with me. It's a little bit difficult, is the word you use. That's right. Yeah. You're only as much of that as you believe you are. What is your favorite animal? I'm hard pressed to say anything other than dogs, dude. I feel dogs might be my favorite animal. I don't know if that's a bad answer, but yeah. So, like I've been pondering. I've been thinking about this for a long time. I've wanted to go on another psychedelic adventure. The last proper one I've been on was during New Year's. So it's been basically a month now. And I've been pondering this, and I've been thinking about this. And one day, as I was meditating, I was trying to visualize just beauty, if you will. And as I was visualizing it, I was seeing this work of art open up in front of me, and it was perfectly symmetrical. But in the center of it, it was almost like it was a work of art that was trying to depict all that is, like everything that could be within the psychedelic realm. And it was as if there were different points on this spectrum, on this thing that I was looking at, that would signify, manifest, be interpreted as different worlds, different levels of interpretation, different experiences to be had within the same space, if you will. And then I saw in my mind's eye this little block, this little almost like pellet, like a core, like something solid in the middle of it, a little bit to the top. And as I was getting closer and closer to this, seemingly solid thing, I noticed that there was the numbers 777 written in the middle of it. And it felt in that moment, at least that's the way I interpreted it, as if it was some sort of indication, message, understanding, if you will, that I was supposed to take 7.77 grams of little monkeys, you know, fungal monkeys. So that's what I'm planning on doing. The most I've done in a sitting, at least in a day, was like 13 grams throughout the day. But apparently it stops working after a while, or at least your tolerance builds so it doesn't affect you anymore. So this will be the highest single dose that I've ever tried to experience. And as I was like trying to figure out what my intention is for this experience today, I go and look up what the numbers 777 is supposed to mean. And the first words that come up is divine guidance. Divine guidance. And the trip I'm going through right now is the fact that divine guidance can be seen as an amazing thing, as a perfect thing, a beautiful thing. And yet, I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated by what divine guidance might come into my life, into my consciousness. What is it that we're going to be experiencing? And I'm not scared. I feel yesterday I was more scared than I am today, which also doesn't make sense to me. It's like, why exactly does that happen? But I felt this feeling, like what we call it pre-flight anxiety, where you're like, something is coming, something is coming. What is it that's coming? Something's coming. Something big is coming. I don't know what it is, but it's coming. And I feel like it's just my ego at the end of the day trying to hold on to what it thinks of as itself. And then all of this in context of what we want to talk about today, about the afterlife, about potentially creating for ourselves a life after. Not even just an afterlife, but a life after. If we are technologically advanced enough to figure out how to continue consciousness, at least in a way, let's say some sort of computer based, consciousness transfer civilization. And they figure out how to turn basic energy, of the universe into little electrons firing through circuits, capacitors, and little transistors. And then they turn that into, again, consciousness, a being that is conscious of itself, in fact, being. But the thing that I've been thinking about is, that there is within this infinity a finite amount of time that we get to be. Like there is going to be inevitably a heat death of this universe, right? And I've in my mind for the longest time I had this understanding, this feeling that if the heat death of the universe eventually comes, even the beings capable of technology that can turn, for instance, a star, Dyson sphere it, and then use all of that energy for processing, what would it turn into energy? And then I rationalized it could use black holes, as a means of generating energy as well, technically. And then I was like, okay, eventually those black holes are going to, through Hawking radiation, disappear into nothingness as well. And then what? And then today, I don't know if I just heard it, if you will. I heard it from I can't even remember his name. Alex Gray and this dude like has a podcast together on his channel. And he mentioned that what if no, it wasn't even that. I was just listening to, Alex Gray and this dude talk about aliens. It was actually a singularity post on Reddit. where this dude mentioned, what if we figure out how to fold space time? And then we can just either fold space time, and then as a result of that, not have to, continue dying, if you will, as the universe dies around us, or we go to another universe. And I don't know why, but for some reason, the going to another universe in my mind was never necessarily a possibility. While at the same time, I am so viscerally aware that there is another universe. Quite literally. And that's kind of why I'm in this state of intimidation right now as well, because what I'm doing, what I'm gonna have to do today, I don't have to do it. I feel it's time for me to do it. I'm going to be enthralled on whatever is on the other side, the other half of this universe. Guidance. That's what I need. Guidance. Guidance. The thing is, I say the word guidance, and for some reason, a part of me wants it to be something external from me. But the truth that I'm feeling right now is that it should be my heart guiding me. Maybe that is the part of me that's divine. Maybe that's what it's supposed to mean when I say the word divine guidance. You're gonna you're gonna have to try and save me, friends. Try and dig me out of this loop that I'm in myself right now. Just in anticipation, it's already affecting me. So they the same thing. Oh yeah, they said difficult. Isn't eternal infinity an oxymoron? Yes, it is, I guess. But the infinite eternal stream of communication is what the words were. Infinite eternal stream. So I feel eternal is kind of something attached to time, where infinity can be attached to magnitude. At least that's the way that I rationalize it in my mind. So eternal as in it never stops, and then infinite as in it also, everywhere you look, it never stops, if you will. Thank you for the silver, Uncle Becky. Thank you for joining us, Brother Bear. That's borderline, borderline heroic. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, Toast. That's almost heroic times two now, Toast. Basically, up 3.5 grams and up is apparently considered heroic dosage, because then you can get 500 milligrams of psilocybin. 7.77 is gonna be something. I don't know what it's gonna be. I'll let you know tomorrow. I'll let you know tomorrow if I'm still sane. I'll stay sane. I'll stay sane. Let's see where I get guided to. Maybe that's what we should say instead. But I assume you don't believe in God, right? I do. Mommy's pretty boy. Thank you for joining us, Ezio. I don't believe in a deity God. I don't believe that there is somewhere out there a bipedal organism that is God. No, and that I do not believe in. I believe that we are quite literally enthralled within divine mind. If there is a God, he would create within mind, and we would be a part of that mind right now, part and parcel to that mind, as neurons in that mind, nodes firing, communicating between itself, experiencing all of mind. Yeah. What do you believe, friend? Heroic. I think my highest. Fucking. I think my highest dose was 64 grams, says Uncle Becky. Thank you, Uncle Becky. Thank you for making this 7.77 gram trip in my mind seem small. Yes. Stop being scared. Stop being scared. Uncle Becky takes 64 gram. He's fat. He's so fat. You'll be fine. Just calm down. It's fucking crazy, dude. I'm guessing that was with the The mushroom pot, if you will. Yeah, I think so as well. I think so as well, Toast. I'm ADHD. I'm ADHD. Do you think you have anything to help me calm me because I have 8 things going through my mind right now? Just breathe, Coco. If 8 things are going through your mind right now, give all of that attention, all of that information that you're processing, just to your breath. Switch to manual breathing, if you will. Take charge of that shit, and then see how long you can do that. And then you'll realize that you can't do that for so long because you're gonna start thinking about other things, and then not gonna think about breathing, and then you're gonna be like, oh shit, shouldn't I be thinking about breathing? And then you do think about breathing again. Okay, yes, breathing. And then you do that for as long as you can, and then you'll notice again, oh shit, I'm not focusing on my breathing anymore. And then you rinse and repeat, and that will be training for your mind. That'll be training for your mind when it comes to ADHD. If I had any advice, that would be it, my friend. I don't think any religion describes God as an organism. I don't know, not mine though. Not as an organism, but as a deity. I was just talking about an organism as in something that is made of a bunch of things, and then a singular because of that. Like we are organisms. We have a bunch of smaller organisms that make up us as well. And technically, now that I'm saying it, maybe God could be an organism in that way. Very complicated organism. But I don't think of God as a deity, as a something that is encapsulated within a body, and then that body moves around and eats food and stuff like that. I'm not so sure about that, Asia. So you're part mushroom. Oh yes, obviously. Haven't you noticed, Ninja? That was good. I'm still tripping out about that story. Uncle Becky literally, saw the entire universe melt in front of his eyes. Had to reassemble it at the other side. He did a pretty good job. Thank you, Uncle Becky. Essentially, yes. Severe dissociation was the price. Ooh. Severe dissociation. I mean, I feel like that's just a part of what we're going through right now as well. I dissociate a lot as well, Uncle Becky, but I haven't gone through that big of a trip. Hardly enough. Like the mushroom experiences I've had makes me associate more than disassociate. It shows me all of the stuff that I've gone through in my life, and it presents them in a way that I can look at them with a level-headed mind, if you will. Absolutely agree with you. I think God's being is unfathomable for our understanding. Oh yeah, for sure. 100% easier. No way that we can understand. And I think that's kind of what makes it beautiful as well. How'd it go? Oh, you... Rambling drug addict. Thank you, Bleach Thy Hole. I appreciate your interpretation of me, my friend. I'm very sure that with the few seconds that you've spent here, you have amassed enough information to make an accurate judgment of my character. And I appreciate you trying to. It's very impressive that you could do it so quickly. But I'm not going to necessarily say that you're right about any of it. Hey, what are you doing? You have something between your toes? Nothing. Man, not so much. Yeah, thank you. Why so judgy? Stay a while, relax and feel the love. Thank you, Toes, for the love as well, my friend. We are glad you found your way back. More or less safe and sound. Pepe. Stop now. Okay? Pepe. She's like chewing on her own paw. And I already checked if there's thorns or ticks or something between her toes, and it doesn't seem that way. That was 22 years ago, roughly. That's a lot of time. It's basically, my age on this planet right now. Dog says, hey, I want Scar. You need surrender. Ooh, surrender. Like, I don't have a problem with surrender, Toast. I don't actually have a problem with surrender. Like, melt more, quite literally, is another, word for surrender as well. A word for relax. Just melt. Just allow yourself to melt. So I agree. Surrender is definitely going to be necessary for today. Dogs sleep and then burp. Either way, we're glad you're here, Uncle Becky. Yes, we are. F. Martin says, where would this door lead us? That's the question, F. Martin. That's the question that I want you to answer for me, or at least to think about. He's asking in this context of day 394, what if there is a door? No, no, no. What if at the end of the time? What if at the end of time there's a door in store? Something like that, right? And this door is one that I believe maybe we could open ourselves. Maybe this door always is open. Maybe we just close our eyes to the light coming through that door. So that's the trip, dude. That's the question. What is at the other side of that door? Are we gonna change as soon as we walk through that door? And change very, very specifically when it comes to form, not so much when it comes to mind. Because we're always changing in mind, but we have become very obsessed with our permanence in form. So, what if we go through this door and suddenly we become formless? Is that going to be intimidating? Is it going to be something that we want? Is form something we need? I'm like today, or at least tomorrow rather, we want to have a podcast. And the last podcast we had was kind of touching on the expanse, that kind of universe of interplanetary humans, or yeah, interplanetary humans, and how that would affect us. And we chose to be different entities from different planets, if you will. You know, one of our friends from the belt, one of our friends from Earth, and I was from Mars in that context. Someone is firing guns. Uh, and we had like a good chat about that, and we kind of came to the topic of AI. We talked about AI, and then before we could really get deep into it, we kind of set it for the next stream. We wanted to start talking about spirituality in the context of AI. If we do figure out artificial general intelligence, are we going to also see an uprise of new spiritual electronic beings? Who were we to say? And if they are spiritual, do they have spiritual form? So they might be formless in the machine, or at least the machine would be their form, but that form isn't something that might be indicative of movement. So maybe they would be forced to take form in the spiritual realm, in a hyperdimensional realm, if you will. Maybe digital, but in the perspective of creating at least conceived physical form within a digital space for itself. And then if AI would be able to do that, if it could do that, what could we do? With 100 years of technological involvement, 10,000 years, 100,000 years, a million years of technological advancement. What are we gonna do? What doors are we gonna open? Guidance. And by Toasty's request, surrender. Guidance and surrender. Surrendering to guidance, or being guided to a place where I can surrender. Maybe surrendering to guidance would be the one I feel I resonate the most with. Do you believe in spirits and the paranormal? I believe in spirit and paranormal. Would that include aliens? Because in that case, yes, I do believe in the paranormal. I'm not so sure about ghosts. I've shared stories, ghost stories that I went through apparently as a kid that my mom told me, but I don't believe them. I just share them. And I say I don't believe them with this extreme air of naivete of like, yeah, I've never seen ghosts. That must mean they don't exist. But the same thing for aliens as well, right? What if they are here, but just in another dimension? Just one plane of existence over. Still here, but imperceivable to my three-dimensional senses. And technically, if you think about the alien ships that we're seeing right now, and I'm saying that like we've seen alien ships, like this is something that's normal. Yes, yes, it's no longer up for debate. UFOs are real. They're real. They exist. Like there are thousands of reports of them. And weirdly enough, they started showing up when we started using nukes. That's when UFO reportings really skyrocketed. It's when we started to drop nukes on each other. Suddenly, these entities show up. It's like, bruh, what the fuck are you doing? No, 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 none of that. Because now we're no longer just messing with humanity. It's no longer just a gun that I can point at you and pull a trigger and then you fall on the other side, or a club that I can beat you over the head with. Now it's all relationships of life, all webs of life that is under threat. We have the technological capacity to completely obliterate all life on this planet. Just think about that from the context of what we've been as beings on this planet for the longest time. And now we figured out how to take an RIG, we figured out how to split atoms. And then the first thing we started doing with it was like, let's go and split atoms in the middle of a city. How about that? And they were like, bruh, okay, you've done it once. That was horrible. It's like, you know what? Let's do it one more time just to make sure. And I feel there has never in humanity, never, maybe even in the history of this planet, been an event where other beings chose to do something like that. Oh, it's surreal. It's surreal if you really think about the implications of that. And then suddenly these other entities show up on our planet. Maybe different entities. Maybe there's a bunch of different species here at the same time. And the ships they have break the laws of physics, at least our laws of physics. It can make right angles at the speed of sound. It can break the sound barrier without making noise. It can go from one plane, the plane of air, to water without disturbing the surface of the water. The fuck? And then it can also shift into our realm of perception, and it can shift out of our realm of perception, right in front of our eyes. And we have like bad video of this right now. We have so many people coming out and talking about this. How long have we been knowing about this? At least on a the elite level, if you will. How long has this information been available? How much of our current technology comes from that space? Maybe as these beings came to our planet, maybe they started communicating with us. Maybe they gave us some technology. Maybe the planes or the ships that crashed on our planet got reverse engineered, and that's why we're seeing this technological, explosion right now. And then there's the argument that all of these UFOs, these ideas of little green men with big eyes, maybe that's what they're doing to make it palatable. Because what they actually are is so surreal that flying aliens and saucers makes more sense. And I believe we're entering that space now. I think we're opening that door. I think that door has been like opened by a crack for a long time. And now we're like pushing. Humanity wants to see what's on the other side. He is not a moron. Maybe I'm a moron, friend. I don't think that's what he said. Give me a sign. Be nice. What sign do you want, friend? I try to, and this might sound as a cliche, but I try to live my life in that way, as a sign, if you will, a sign of love. Try and ask yourself that when you're going through your life: is what I'm doing right now a sign of love? And then do it or don't do it based on that. You'll see it changes things. Sorry for missing your comments here, my friend. Is that a duck in the background? Not anymore. Might have been chickens. Probably. I hope aliens are alive, because it would be a big waste of space. Oh, I'm pretty sure, friend. I'm as the only way for me to believe that there aren't any aliens is if an alien told me there weren't any aliens. Yeah, yeah, come on, yeah. Freaking paradoxes. The background looks really peaceful. Thank you, friend. It's been a little bit overcast today, but it really is nice. Wouldn't mind meditating there. You can, friend. I mean, you can meditate right here, right now. Good morning to you, Dan. It's so nice to have you here, my man. Thank you, brother Bay. How are you doing? How's the family? How's your significant other? You're the one implying. How many marijuanas did you take? So you take an eight, you know, and then you smoke a joint. You put your hand on that eight, and then suddenly it starts toppling because it's round on the bottom, and then it falls on the side. That's how much marijuanas I took. One of those, just one single infinity of marijuana. Thank you. How are you? I hope you're fine. I'm doing well, S Genius. I'm doing well. I'm in a state of preparation right now. My mind feels very, I want to say, apprehensive. It's like it has guards up. It's like, my shield, marching forward. Little does it know that I'm the one that's going to be melting those poor little shields away as well. Pouring love on the other side. Hi, Doggo. Thank you for saying hi to little Pippi. She's on my lap right now. All of them. One marijuana officer. I injected the whole marijuana one time, right in the spine. So like my mind goes through so many different trips. Like one is like there's like a single liquid marijuana in a syringe, and technically you can't inject something into your spine. It would kind of like spill around. That was like the first, like it can't be done. And then the second one is like, okay, one marijuana in a syringe. It gets injected into the spine, and the bones somehow absorb all of the marijuanas. And then the third one was just like an actual, like almost like a fractal, a single fractal of marijuana being injected. And as it's being injected, it like fractals out and looks like like buds and stuff onto the spine. Thank you, Ninja. Light it, I guess. I hope you have the most loving, insightful, and meaningful journey. You mentioned something about being guided by the heart, and I felt like a very important thread to grab onto. You're right. You're right, Ryan. Because it's that heart that we share. It's that heart that we share. Thank you for reminding me of that again. She is itching. She might be. I gave her a bath with some like thick shampoo, I guess. She really doesn't like it, but now she's clean and hopefully tick free. Hello to you, Cryptkeeper. It's nice to have you here, brother Bear. Like we were just talking about these topics. I don't know how much you've heard, but it's an interesting thing, right? Hey, Princess Mononoke says, "Hey, I'm Melton friends, having a good day. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm very contemplative, but I'm feeling so good. Mm, I've been I've had a burning thought. Can you be reincarnated to the past? So, on that question, I would say yes. I believe we are right now in this moment residing within a fifth dimensional space as mind. And mind is something that can be ultimately aware of all of time and space, because time and space occur in the third and fourth dimensions. This is the way I understand it. So it not only is it possible, But because of the nature of being within a larger infinity, looking onto a smaller infinity, no matter where you drop on that infinity, you'll still have infinity both ways, if you will, right? So you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. Okay, let's talk about numbers. Within an infinite number set, right? You can drop like a number. You can like pick one, like oh, number 4,444,444, and then that number just happens to be you within that infinity. You get into this life within that infinity, but even though that can be seen as arguably a high number, it can be seen as just the infancy of that infinite set, or it can be seen as the middle of that infinite set, or it can be seen as the end of that infinite set. But it's infinite. So no matter where you fall on that infinite set, no matter what time you get reincarnated into, you're still going to find yourself in the eternal now. So it's not going to be the past, it's going to be now, just then. I don't know if I answered your question. But that's the way I've made sense of that for myself as well. It's a cool question. It's a cool question to keep asking ourselves as well. Thank you, Cryptkeeper. Hmm. When they chew, their their cells they're itching. I know Coco. Like she's not doing it because there's something there though. I have to make sure. And like having anyone, especially if they're against you, because like she uses her foot and then she presses it against my leg and then she yam 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 yam. It's not very much of a vibe for me. And like thinking about Jordan Peterson right now, not that he's a role model, just that he has some good things that he said. Don't let your kids do things that makes you not like them. And it's not gonna make me like her less, but if I'm gonna be unhappy with what she's doing in this moment, then I have to make it stop. Itching, miserable snow. I'm so sorry, Cryptkeeper. You should look into Tron TV series. There's a new life form is created within the virtual world. Where a new life form. Only one Mononoke? Like, how you said it, the Tron TV series. Maybe that's what it's about, creating a new life form. It sounds cool. Please do send me a link or like where I can find it. Ah, let me be. I'm Diana's View. Oh, thank you for joining us, Diana. You're on the Reddit. It's nice to have you here. Jacob is joining us as well. Brother Bear. Eternal blessings unto you. Thank you for joining us. I remember seeing the most advanced geometry possible, and I was color coded in a sense. I don't remember a door. I remember going through dozens of death loops until my sense of self was dissolved. Oh yeah. But that happens to me no matter how many doses I take or how high dose of I take. Uncle Becky, like every single time I have some sort of mushroom experience, it makes me confront my mortality. It kind of shows me my life. Oh look, live your life. As I'm sprinting through this infinity, my body slowly but surely decays, fails me eventually, and then I pass away with friends and loving members, at my bedside. And no matter what I sprinted through in those infinities, if that infinity I was sprinting through the middle of a jungle, living in the jungle as a huntsman, or I was sprinting through hyper technology, civilizations, the people, the beings, the other individuals, the other souls that I got to spend time with, that I got to become aware of, it's like this divine mind, is infinitely spread. And then by having parts of that divine mind that recognizes itself as such come together, there is a collective that happens that is not more than the individual is, but maybe a little bit more perspectived. Like there's more understanding within that larger perspective. Chicken and chicks passing behind us. It's all a trip, dude. It's all a trip. We've done this so many times. So many times we've done this. And if you ask my friends, what is the reoccurring thing that I ask when I'm in some sort of extreme hallucinogenic state? Is how many times have we done this? And I asked them like I'm expecting an answer, like yes, exactly 555,555,555,000,555. What number? There's no number that you can say, and yet I asked that question. Because there's this sense of infinity, this genuine sense of eternity, and it's surreal. It's so surreal. Time is not what we think it is. Or at least it is what we think it is. But everything else isn't what we think it is. And then when we stop thinking, at least in the way we usually think, the things we think about change. The way we think about them change as well. We think about the things we used to think about, and then we think about that. It's all a trip. Life is a constant psychedelic adventure. You're hallucinating your reality right now. And you're like, oh yeah, man, I'm sober. No. What you're seeing right now is an illusion. What you're seeing right now isn't as it appears. Your brain has photons, flying into your eyeballs. And your eyeballs are technically parts of your brain as well, by the way. It has neurons. Anyway, and then, this information, this just like stream of, it gets into our brains, literally like freaking bits. And then our brains could deconstruct that information. And then it gives us this. The fuck? We're hallucinating right now. And the fact that we are collectively in this hallucination, that we have some sort of similarity in these hallucinations, I think that's extremely beautiful. I remember seeing the most, of course. Clear the warm woods. Elon Musk is opening so many doors. That's true, actually. That mouse chasing the chicken. Anyone see that mouse? There was a mouse chasing the chicken? That would have been a trip. Maybe one of the chicks variants. Drop more nukes to get attention. Oh. I don't think that's the type of attention we want, friend. It's like if you're it's starting to rain a little bit. If you're like graffitiing the side of a building, you know, you don't really, and you're doing it illegally, let's say, you're doing it, you're destroying property as you're doing it instead of trying to make a work of art. You don't want people to see you doing that. And if people see you doing that, it's not the type of attention you want. I feel it's the same case for dropping nukes and getting attention by doing so. No. Like, what if the aliens are just like, okay, these humans want to kill everything else on the planet? We really like bears, especially those small little brown ones. No, black ones, black and white ones. They look like little live teddy bears. They're so lit. Kill all the humans. They want to kill the animals. No, we don't want that attention, friend. Mm. What's going on here? You tell me, friend. You tell me. Then came the acceptance of calm. I tried for a good while at the realization I had just went through. It changed me to my core from the day forward, made me the person you know today. Uncle Becky, I wouldn't have it any other way. Even though I wouldn't recommend it for any other being. I know that you aren't every other being, and I wouldn't have it any other way because as you are, who you are to this world and to your family, I wouldn't have it any other way, Brother Bay. We love you so much. So much. We're melting. Yeah, we're so melting, Ninja. Melting to the core. I'm snacking. Man, I actually like that. I'll use that one next time when someone asks me. We're just melting, dude. I'm snacking on halloumi. I don't know what that is, Raku. Starship is massive. Oh yes, that's gonna be what 100 tons deployed into like orbit per launch. That's a lot of weight, dude. I need Roger from American Dad to exist more than other versions of aliens. I was, you can call it wishful thinking. I would like to call it manifesting. I was manifesting today to have an alien on stream at one point in my life. The initial thing that I manifested was I want to be the first one to have an alien on my stream. And then I was like, nah, you don't need to be first. That's, what's more? Is that ego? Is that ego? Fucking ego. Just I want to have a chat with an alien on stream at one point, please. Please, aliens, like there's so much space. You can have like 1,000 of you come over. I'll try and feed you. They'll probably eat everything. It's okay. You can eat everything. I just want to see some aliens. Thank you for the hugs, Infamous One. We miss and appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. I love you. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the first words to come from Infamous One again. I'm trying to figure out the delay. Yeah, that's just me, Cryptkeeper. That's all me, friend. Love y'all. Going to stream for a bit. I'll try and call you in a couple hours, Mel. I won't promise that I'll pick up the phone, Uncle Becky. But if I am in that space, supposed to pick up that phone, then we're gonna have that chat, dude. Maybe you just pick up the phone and you just hear Melt. And you're like, Melt, you're clearly no longer human. I'll talk to you when you're human again. Yeah, you mean like Xenos? No, no, please, please, no, no Xenos. No, no, no. The smaller set of jaws within a larger set of jaws. And I mean, we have manta rays. No more rays that have that. When there's a jar inside a bigger jar, that's some more ray. Something like that. What? Yeah, morays. They actually have that, two sets of jaws, and then the inside set of jaw comes out and snaps. Big yikes. Like seeing that on an alien, I mean that would be a little bit rude of me to say like big yikes. Maybe that's just the way they evolved and eat. I guess I would be. I would figure out how to be cool with even the Xenos if they're communicative, like the way they are in Alien. If they're just like Xenos like that, then hell no. I'm staying the fucking way. Alien Isolation, mildly traumatized me as well. Dropping nukes got their attention. Would uniting and putting the same amount of energy into something positive have them make open contract? Yes, 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 Ninja. That's what. The Monsters of the Alien series by Riley Scott. Scary people eating kind. Oh hell no. The one where they had those big things just like sucking brains out of people. Aiden, thank you for joining us, friend. It's so nice to have you here, man. Oh no, lol. I may be a snack, but I don't want to be digested. I like that, man. Okay, that's perfect. Have you seen anything godlike? My friend, if I could see your face right now, I would be seeing something godlike. All around you, there are godlike things. I have a question. May I ask? You've asked two questions, friend. Please, please. What is the most and what kind of hallucinogens have you taken? The most I have, like, when it comes to most extreme experiences, it would be, like 60 milligrams of dimethyltryptamine, and I've taken 550 mics of LSD, and I've taken 5 grams of mushrooms at once, and today I'm planning on taking 7.77. At least that's the intention. So those are all of my stats, if you will. Maybe like I'm thinking about this as well. Psychedelics are becoming more and more mainstream, and in the same way that aliens are becoming something that people are allowed to talk about, psychedelics are becoming something that people are allowed to talk about, and it is helping people right now. So it's going to continue helping people. So I just imagine, one day talking to my grandkids. Maybe like my 18-year-old grandkid, he's been allowed to have his first psychedelic adventure, and like I put him like through a 3.33 gram experience, and I just see his little melt, like his little mind melt, and everything he thought about the world dissolve right in front of his eyes, and then him looking at me and me being able to tell him, yeah, I've done that. thousands of times. Thousands of times. What you're experiencing right now, thousands of times. Melt his mind even more. Just imagine, like I'm tripping out about how we have beings. I was thinking about this the other day. Me as a 6-year old, running around a room and having the adults kind of just watch you, and then me talking to like an old man. The sheer difference in perspective of what life is when it comes to a child and a man in his 60s is so surreal. And I think that gap is only going to become more and more surreal as we hyper accelerate into the future. Leonardus is joining us. Says, whenever I have had bad trips in the past with mushrooms, I always felt like the world made complete sense. Almost like an insanely strong connection and understanding of nature. That feeling always fades from me after a couple of days. I was thinking about that as well today, Leonardus. It fades, but I feel it doesn't go away. It's it's like having a flashlight shine in your eyes. You can have that little spot, that like fades slowly, and in that way I feel it still stays. Like you have that initial image, it stays retained in your neurochemistry, or at least in the way your brain knows that it can actually fire, and then it just kind of like fades. It doesn't necessarily run those pathways anymore. And as it runs those pathways less and less, it recedes back into your default mode network, your normal way of perceiving this reality. But I believe all of that information stays available to you. I just think we don't necessarily experience it always. What do you think? The physical manifestation of the time dimension goes when the universe goes, but when your perception of time goes, that's just enlightenment, baby. Enlightenment, baby. Yeah. And weirdly enough, enlightenment, as you're saying, is almost hand in hand with a sense of timelessness. And it's odd. Like, I haven't actually thought about it in that way, but you're so right. I don't consider myself enlightened. I believe I've had enlightening experiences. And every single one of those enlightening experiences was kind of prefaced with this sense of timelessness, this sense of eternity, this clear indication of infinity. It's like, look, look, you see? You're gonna keep seeing if you keep looking. But you have to keep looking if you want to keep seeing. And I'm like, okay. It's melting. Melting as all of this bright light just. Don't look away, friends. I'm getting rained on right now, but I kind of want to be rained on. It's like coming down. It's not like this is how wet this piece of paper is right now. I'm covering all of my little rolling papers and stuff with the piece of paper as well. This thing will dry out. My slippers will be fine. Those things are waterproof. Okay. You are an organic computer. You're right, friend. We're one of the most advanced pieces of technology that nature has ever made. We all share this experience because none of us are separate. You're right, Brother Bear. And right now, on my phone, it's all sevens. 57 as well. When the feeling fades, do you find yourself missing it and trying to get back to it? I don't, weirdly enough. I'm kind of intimidated by it. It's almost like because I've had those experiences before, trying to get back to them, especially when I try to get back to something, if there's a specific thing that I'm trying to get back to, then you're gonna like set yourself up for loss every single time, because that's not how it works. Mushrooms makes me feel like I completely understand life in the universe. Same. Cool if orcs were real. It would be pretty cool. They probably are. Maybe not here, but they probably are. That would be pretty funny. You are explaining something profound, and we just see a UFO hovering in the background. All my fingers crossed, dude. Please, please come and photobomb my streams, aliens. maybe for the first 44 years, they'll just photobomb my streams like for a split second, for like a single pixel. And then after those 44 years, they'll be like, okay, we've been trolling you this whole time. And then they show me all of those trolls, and it makes like a complete dick butt or something. I don't know. And I'm like, thank you for trolling me for 44 years instead of having conversations with me. I appreciate that. I see your sense of humor, you know, the whole infinity thing, and us having done this an infinite amount of times. It's like, yeah, you get it. I'm like, yeah. We watch Melt get abducted live. Like I'll keep one pair of fingers crossed. I won't cross all of them for the abduction thing. Like the abduction thing might be a mild yikes. You know, maybe just like pandemonium suddenly. Lamar just floats away. Gets taken. It'll all be marked, men. Blackness. Literally, you know, as the stream ends, like you see me disappear, the stream cuts off on Reddit side, and then you hear a dot 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 at the back, at the outside of your door. Do you eat mushrooms daily? Hell no, dude. No, 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 no. The last time I had mushrooms was after the first week. No, 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 the second week. I took like a little bit and danced with it. And then the last big experience I had was during New Year's. So I've had two encounters, you know, since New Year's, if you will. Every day, I don't think is gonna be good for you ever. Thank you, Riot, for even March 7th. You can't regrow from it. You can't regrow from it if you take too much. Regrow from it. Like, the plan isn't to take too much, my friend. You know, like, I'm fortunately aware that it takes a little bit more to affect me in the way that it does other beings. At least the people that I've spent time with myself. You know, like the last large experience I've had was with 5 grams, and it was with a friend of mine. And for me, I had, you know, an extreme body high. I was feeling really good. I felt, and this might sound weird and it might sound dangerous, and it probably is. I felt like I couldn't die. That's that's what I felt. You know, like on a bodily level, I felt like I was immortal. I wasn't vocal about that. That's just what it felt like. And my environment was pretty normal. You know, it was kind of breathy, if you will. And then I could see what's going on inside my head. I could constantly see it. You know, like my third eye was open and I was looking at this, but I was also looking at my external environment. However, my friend, I had to basically hold on to the walls. You know, like and you know, upon seeing this and noticing this, I took on even more calm and, you know, a sense of stability to counteract for that. So I don't know if I'll have quite that much of an experience today, but I'm going into this and I've set this intention. I was asking before this stream as well. I was hoping to set an intention for the trip during this stream, and it's going to be divine guidance. And as we were going through the stream, it almost came as a realization that that divine guidance is our heart. You know, our heart is that part of us that is interconnected, and you can think of it as divine mind as well. It is this center, you know, pulsating love into the universe, and that's what I want to connect with. That's what I'm going in with. So I'm not doing it to get wrecked, if you will. I'm trying to get divine guidance. What we're doing here, the experiences we share, I believe is very important. And it's not realistic, I feel should be the word, to expect ourselves to be able to do these things, to expect everyone to be able to do these things, to even recommend everybody to do these things. So since I am, at least in some ways, a scientist, curious, someone that explores, someone that tries to find as much data as he can, I'm going to go and explore the other side of the infinity. You know, if you think you look out onto an infinite universe, realize that this infinite universe is looking into you. as another infinite universe. And that's what I'm going to dive into, my friend, all the way until I hit heart. You can't really, because you don't really want to trip every day, an automatic tolerance, but you can microdose every day, but it doesn't make you trip. You're completely right, Aiden. Like you can microdose, but even if you're microdosing, you don't really want to go every day. You still want to like stagnate so that your tolerance can reset. You can't ever go back to where you were before. You can only go forward, my friend. And that forward is always within this now. You know, it's like constantly ticking forward. Like it's dragging you along, and it's not fun to be dragged. So it's better to push. You can't. He wanted to order some online, but some wanna get then wanna get scammed. Yeah, come to South Africa, my friend. Come to South Africa. That's all I'll say. You know, I don't know what's gonna happen when you get here, but come to South Africa. Oh, what do you describe as reaching enlightenment? I describe reaching enlightenment as a realization that there is no separation. You know, in a way where you recognize yourself as a beam of light coming from the source of a sun. You know, it's the recognition that you are that light. You know, the same way that the sun is something you can see because of the light it emits, you are that light. And that's what I believe enlightenment is. But I don't like considering enlightenment as this. I feel it's so overused at this point, and it's so almost trivialized. It's not something that is inaccessible. It's something that is available to all of us at all times. But I feel it happens in short bursts because sustaining that amount of light, of brightness, staring into the sun, isn't necessarily always sustainable. Because if you're only staring into the light, you won't be able to see the shadows. mm, yeah, have the rest of the internal now. It's all good, it's all perfect, it's all you. Infinite openness, that's enlightenment. No time, no desire, no suffering. Exactly, exactly. It's a realizing of what you are, underlying everything. And you realize that that thing that you are always is content. It, it looks, it observes. And observing things is what it wants to do. It wants to see things. It wants to see what you're gonna see. It wants to see what you're gonna do. It wants to see. You want to see, right? That's what we are, underlying all of it. And then the things we see, we start to tell ourselves stories about it. And those stories become very convincing. But we shouldn't be so convinced that we only believe that story. We should allow ourselves to change that story sometimes. We should allow ourselves to adjust the story. Take some control to tell it ourselves instead of having it told. What's the plan setting for your experience today? So, like if you close your eyes, the only setting left is you, my friend. I'm probably going to be here in this space. It's gonna be mostly dark. I'm just gonna strap in, my friend. I considered doing it this morning. I felt it wouldn't have been fair to this space, so we're gonna do it tonight. And I've had a bunch of daytime experiences, and they're beautiful. But when it's nighttime, I'm even more prone to going inward. I've never talked to anyone who's enlightened, but the lengths of Satori I've had were very nice. I agree. Someday, me, you, Melt are gonna trip together, and I'm gonna take like a quarter the amount you do, and we'll be tripping about the same amount. You see, like it's interesting to me that you say that as well, Aiden, because me and Aiden, we could have been brothers, if you will. Like we probably had to be brothers, or we were. Oh, okay, so this might be even more of a trip, Aiden, and do bear with me because it's just a thought. It's not I'm saying this is the way it is, but there is this interpretation that when we come into this world, we fracture. Like it's impossible for one human body to hold everything that we are. So we fracture into different parts of ourselves. And then we end up in different bodies as a result of that. I believe if there could be, and I've found bits of these fractures now, and I think Aiden could definitely be one of those as well. Like me and Aiden are very similar, very very similar. But when it comes to that, like psychedelic tolerance, if you will, completely different. And it's fascinating to me. Mushrooms in the middle of the night at a grocery store, it's exhilarating. Everything is exhilarating in that kind of mind. You're just like, oh my goodness. oh, oh, damn. What the fuck? And then you look at, cereal boxes and you see the marketing. And you see, the stuff they choose to write, and you see the way they they add colors, and you're like, huh, that's kind of pretty. I see why they did it like that. Hey, what do you think about Alan Watts? I think he's an OG. I would love to have a conversation with him. He's on my list of 5 people that are dead or alive that I would like to have a conversation with. Thank you for the helpful, my friend. Look who it is. It's Katie. Goldfish. Sending you my love. Sending my love to you all. Thank you for the silver, my friend. Thank you for sharing this space with us. Whew! It's been a while, Katie. It's been a while. How have you been? How have you been? We've been tripping out, pretty much. We had some cool chats. We talked about the door at the end of time. Would we have to open the door at the end of time so that we can continue in another time? Would we fold space, figure out how to time travel, reverse time? Or is this other side of infinity already here right now? And is all of infinity residing there right now? Within this space around us, but because of our fleshy beings, because of the way we perceive time, we're not allowed to experience or interpret them completely. I've been great. I'm so happy to hear that. Never better, she says. I missed you guys. Oh, like if I ever was happy to have someone back and have good news. That was amazing. Thank you, Katie, for letting me know that. I'm so happy to hear you're doing well. You're all caught up. I am, Cryptkeeper. Good morning to you, Heather, my sister. Thank you for joining us. We talked about aliens again. Aliens in the context of beings that could mess with Euclidean geometry. So, if they wanted to, they could clip into this universe and then clip out of this universe. As if we are on flatland. In this flatland, to you friends who don't know, some of you might, is this understanding that there could be entities living in flatland as two-dimensional objects. So everything they see as slices, a flat little slice of their reality. And then suddenly, a three-dimensional ball entity, comes into this little world, sees flatland, sees all of these beings on flatland, and then says to them, "Sup, dudes?" And these, flatland entities buckcock themselves. They lose their minds. They're like, "The fuck? Something just spoke to us. I cannot see it. It's not within my plane of existence for me to see, to observe it." And it's like, "Oh shit, my bad. Let me show you myself." And then this ball drops on this flat plane of existence, and they see a very small little sphere or a little small little, you know, like bar, and they can see like a little bit of shading, if you will. So they realize, oh, it's rounded and it's flat, obviously. And then it has the ability to move through flatland, or at least go into the ground in flatland, if you will. And then it sees, these entities sees this thing go from very small to larger, 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 back small, and they can build in their minds an understanding that this thing stacked on top of itself would make a whole new object, would make a whole new representation of something, of dimensionality. And what I believe is that the aliens, the aliens, already understand that shit. Like they are living within a dimension higher than ours, and they can clip into this reality in the same way that that sphere could clip through flatland. Please, aliens, tell me if I'm right or wrong. How about that? How about you tune in, you sit down, I'll roll you a joint, I'll pour you a glass of water, I'll cut you some mango, and we can just have chats. Maybe not today. I'm gonna keep asking. You're all caught up. What if it locked? What if it's locked and you have to restart till you find your meaning and are given the key? That's kind of like gives me the egg vibes, right? Like what we're doing right now is this process of learning, of growing as a larger entity, and eventually we'll hatch after the growth that we've experienced. I'm gonna do a whole stream. Maybe tomorrow we'll do the stream about that, about butterflies, about how the human psyche like has some sort of fascination with butterflies, how a worm and the things you might think about a worm, eats a bunch of greens and then dissolves itself, turns itself into mush, melts into a goo, and then starts to reassemble itself into a butterfly, something beautiful. And that butterfly then goes and then pollinates the very plant that I was eating from. Gonna have a whole stream about that. How about it? Huh? I think that would be a cool topic to chat about. Lamas, stoned aliens. Stoned aliens would be a vibe. I would love, like absolutely love, Paul as an alien. Have you seen Paul? It's this show of this stoner alien, actual stoner alien. Like, watch it. If you haven't seen it, Cryptkeeper, you'd love it, my friend. I didn't see Sleeping Puppy until now. She's just been out for the count. Butterflies are my spirit animal. Mine too. In fact, Heather. I've done a few tests for what that's worth, from a few friends and online as well. And apparently a butterfly is my spirit animal as well. Thank you, friends, for sharing this space, this moment, this time with me today. I have a lot to think about. I feel today's experience is going to be informed, very informed. Guess there's no time like the present. The longer I put it off, the later I'll get into bed. So it needs to be done. Wish me luck, please. Like, send me vibes, all the good vibes. I would appreciate it. Imagine it killed the alien. I'd be like, no, why? Like, I'm pretty sure if aliens show up and I roll them a joint, the fact that they could show up in the first place means that they're advanced enough to have like extremely cool technology. So they would be able to analyze whatever's in the joint, make sure it wouldn't kill them. Maybe even shift their biology to be able to experience the compound. Who knows? I don't know. I would like to find out though. Thank you, friends, for sharing this space, this moment, this opening with me. I appreciate you so much, and I look forward to seeing you, friends, again tomorrow. Wish me good luck. Thank you. I wish you so much good luck for your day as well, friends. Goodbye. Goodbye, my friends.